Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to Today in Bitcoin. Today is June the 3rd, 2017. This is home of long-term cryptocurrency thinking. Gold and hold, be in motion. Hey, pound that like button also, of course. But we've got a very special guest returning to the show. He was on This Week in Bitcoin 2 weeks ago. It is Rocky Palumbo, and he is a loyal watcher of this show too. And he's actually going to open up. Everyone wants to hear his opinion on ASICboost. People really were like, Adam, get this guy back on. He alluded to it before. So he's going to talk about that, but a lot of other things also. His important links are below, by the way, so you can get in touch with him. You can email him. But he watches the show loyally, and he wanted to comment on some recent shows. So that's how we're going to start it out, and then we're going to get into some ASICboost. Rocky, welcome back.
Thanks, Adam. You had a few guests on yesterday's show, and one of them was Ansel Linder, and he talked a lot about the UASF. Oh my God, this guy was great. Anybody who was watching that show and didn't pay complete attention to what he had to say, they should go back and rewatch that show. And of course, if you missed that show, go watch that show for sure. And Ansel, if you're watching this, you have any spare time at all, get a hold of me. I'd love to talk Bitcoin with you. We could Skype, hang out, telephone, whatever. Also on Thursday's show, I think you had two shows. The first one, you talked about a guy losing $8,000 on Coinbase, and he lost it in the value, $8,000 value worth of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And you mentioned that a couple of people had told you that they don't worry about their deposits there because Coinbase is FDIC insured, and they are, but only for your USD wallet. Not your crypto wallets, and not, if you have a Euro wallet, if you're from Europe, or a Canadian wallet, if you're in Canada. Only you have to live in the United States and have the USD funds. They're insured up to $250,000. And then back when I was on last, we talked about one broker opening a second website and calling it One Goxed. And I don't know if they were watching that show or what, but they now have a vote on their website. So if you have a One Broker account, go ahead and sign in, and you can vote on whether they should keep that name or come up with a new one.
Quite a name there. And thanks for updating us on this, all that. By the way, the This Week in Bitcoin show, it is linked to below. So let's talk ASICboost here. Tell us, what is it? What is it in your opinion?
Well, I don't really consider it an optimization like some people do. It's really more of a hack. I probably spend too much time, or too much of my free time, in the forums reading what people have to say. But it's amazing to me that people still think that Segwit is not a block size increase, and they don't understand how it's likely to solve all of Bitcoin's problems right now, this whole block size debate. But the core devs, they worked long and hard on coding Segwit. It's been tested longer than any other BIP or update that they've put out previously. But the reason why ASICboost, I think, is such a hot topic right now is it's directly related to Segwit and Segwit getting activated. When you see the Bitcoin Unlimited supporters or big block people, they talk about ASICboost. They kind of have two main tactics they use to try and legitimize it. They give it just kind of a pass in general, and then they distract. They'll say, oh, ASICboost is okay. Don't look at that. Let's look at Core. Core wants high transaction fees, and Core wants long wait confirmation times, which is ridiculous. Core doesn't want this. If they wanted that, they would have never come out with Segwit, because Segwit increases the block size. It takes the pressure off the mempool, which will lower transaction fees and reduce confirmation times. So how much will Segwit increase the block size? That's a pretty common question. Right off the bat, it should give us about 1.6 to 2 megs worth of transactions into that same old 1 meg block. At least the old nodes will see it as a 1 meg block, but the new nodes will see it as its true size, 1.6 to 2 megs. But as people start using multi-sig transactions more and more, it could go up to like 2.2 megs. And then later this year, or maybe early next year, they're going to add Schnorr signatures, which will bring it up to 3 megs, or maybe even up to 3.8 megs. So Segwit is a block size increase, possibly up to 4 meg. So that's number one. The second way they try to legitimize it is they say that ASICboost is okay because it's just another mining optimization. But I don't think so. And to prove it, if you compare it to optimizations of the past, you'll see that it doesn't really match. Doesn't really match up. When Bitcoin mining started, people were just mining with their laptops and CPU, or laptops and desktops, which they're mining with their CPUs, and that was all fast enough until they discovered that the GPUs, which is kind of just like a CPU on a graphics card, these GPUs could really crunch these numbers faster than the CPUs, and that was a pretty good increase or optimization in mining. But this was a pure optimization. This was not dependent on anything else in Bitcoin changing or staying the same. So then along came the the FPGAs, the field programmable gate array chips, and these even mine faster than the GPUs. This was another optimization. And then, of course, the most recent increase was the ASIC chips, the application-specific integrated circuits. And these mined faster again than the FPGAs. But each one of these enhancements or optimizations were just mining faster. They were performing the SHA-256 operations faster than the previous method. And it wasn't dependent on anything else. So that brings us to ASICboost. Now, on the surface, ASICboost kind of looks like another optimization, but it comes at a cost to Bitcoin's protocol. Bitcoin or ASICboost doesn't really perform SHA-256 operations faster. Without going into too much detail about how it works, that'd get very technical. I know you're not a technical guy. Basically, ASICboost lets you mine in such a way that it gives you a 20 to 30% reduction on your electricity costs. Now, with that 20 to 30% reduction in cost, you could add 20 to 30% more miners, so you're mining faster. But either way you want to look at it, as a reduction in cost or mining faster, again, on the surface, that makes it look like another optimization. But, and here's the kicker, with ASICboost, unlike the other optimizations, there's a caveat, there's a condition, there's a requirement for ASICboost to continue to work. And that requirement is the block structure cannot change, or at least it cannot change in the way that Segwit changes it. So with all the great things Segwit does, it increases the block size, it allows for layering, like that will allow them to add the Lightning Network layer. It's a malleability fix, and it's all wrapped up in a nice little soft fork, nice and safe, much safer than a hard fork. But in the process of doing all these things that Segwit does, it changes the block structure and breaks ASICboost. And this is why the miners are against it, because they're not ready to give up that 20 to 30% reduction on their electric bill. That's kind of a hard pill to swallow for them. So, in my opinion, ASICboost is less of a mining optimization and more of a hack or a cheat, because it requires that block structure not changing, which in turn means you can't update Bitcoin, you can't add Segwit, which is the best way forward. And which means ASICboost is basically slowing down Bitcoin moving forward. It's keeping it from changing, improving, taking that best path forward. So in my book, it's no optimization. It's more of a ball and chain around Bitcoin's ankle.
Well, there you go, people. That is what you've been waiting to hear about. Pound that like button if it was worth the wait. Well, that is very good. I like people ask about this all the time. I like to get as I can't explain it like that. Obviously, it was awesome. But moving on into, because this is obviously central to the Segwit block size debate, the way things are progressing with it now, they still want to hold on to their advantage, certain miners, and then we've got this user-activated soft fork on the other side is being used as leverage to make them think otherwise. How do you see all this ending up? Are we going to end up with 2 Bitcoin? Is that a very bad outcome?
Well, ending up with 2 Bitcoin would be a very bad outcome. But I don't really know which way this is going to go. I'm still studying this. This is all still, pretty new. And it's hard to tell, at least for me. I would refer back to Ansel, what he said on your show yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. Was like, well, you say, so you're at this point, you think that was like the best, the scenarios he played out were, and the logic behind it is the best you've heard so far.
Yes, and his knowledge of everything in it. He seemed to be very knowledgeable. I know enough to know he knows what he's talking about. So you should have him back. You know what?
I was just about to say that. I got to have Ansel just with a one-on-one. We've never had Ansel one-on-one here. He's been on This Week in Bitcoin 2 or 3 times now. But yeah, we got to, as we get closer to this, and I just hope it'll get settled early. I mean, now we're in June, not August, not even July yet. So yeah, I'll get Ansel back. Maybe I'll try to aim for July and hope that it's settled by July or something like that. Well, speaking of guests who have been on this show before, you said you had a unique way to tie Tone Vays's price prediction this summer and the major pullback in August with the whole Segwit block size debate. Can you elaborate on that? That was something you told me off there.
Yeah, sure. He's been saying for quite some time now. I remember as far back as early this year, January probably, that he was saying that Bitcoin was going to be 2,000 by summer, and of course at that time it was just 1,000. So now it looks like he came in a little short, but that was pretty good. And then he has this other long-term prediction that he made from way back in 2014. Where he said that there's just a big event going to happen in August 2017. And I think he even had the exact day as August 14th. But I think it ties in pretty good with what's going on right now. He was a little short on his 2,000, should have been, closer to 2,500, but that's okay. I mean, these things are hard to predict exactly. But I thought before this whole BIP 148 came out or started getting popular, I thought it was going to really tie in with the Segwit thing, the Segwit getting passed, that people were going to, stop getting into Bitcoin, or at least it was going to slow down. Maybe people get out of Bitcoin because of all the issues with the block size debate and the high fee on the transactions and the long wait confirmations, and that with people leaving the Bitcoin going to all the alts, the price would drop, and this would happen around August 1st or so, or 14th, and around there sometime at least, and then the miners would get on board with Segwit, and then of course the price everybody would move back into Bitcoin and price would skyrocket. So when I first talked to you about this, BIP 148 wasn't out yet, or at least I hadn't even heard of it at that time. So now we got to put this into the mix, and it actually still kind of lines up, because it's going to activate, whether anybody likes it or not. It's going to activate on August 1st, and if there is a split in the chain, let's say the chain does split for a while, and maybe sometime around August 14th, maybe, the miners might get on board with Segwit and just start signaling, and everything comes together, and the moon is the next stop.
All right. That's it. I mean, hey, Tone talks about that all the time. He used some mathematical model to predict the date. That's one of his more out there predictions. I love his market analysis. I will say that. And to predict the $2,000 this summer was great. We're at 2,500. We'll see where it goes. Another name of note who hasn't been on the show, but you wanted to say something about is Gavin Andresen, and your opinion on him.
Well, a lot of guys are sending a lot of hate his way. He was real big in Bitcoin in the beginning, and he seemed to have a lot of communication with Satoshi. I don't know anybody who had more communication with him, and he claims to have the last communication with them right before he went to go talk to the CIA. But he was such an integral part of Bitcoin in the beginning. I kind of give him a pass on what he's doing right now, because he was just so there for Bitcoin when Bitcoin needed him in the very beginning. Whoops. But what happened with him, I can really relate to, because the same thing kind of happened to me. I see him as, in the beginning, the Bitcoin community was so small. He was kind of like the big fish in a little pond. And then this pond is right by the ocean, but a big wave came in and just, swept everything out to sea. Now he's not such a big fish in a much bigger ocean. And that's kind of a tough pill to swallow. I had that experience in high school. I was #1 varsity singles on the tennis team. There was a guy came in later and he beat me some of the time, but most of the time I was #1. So I'm like the #1 guy in tennis in high school. But when we went out to have the other meets with other schools, I lost 80-90% of my matches. In the bigger scheme of things, I wasn't that hot. Okay. And that was tough to take when I was a teenager, but I learned my lesson. It was an important lesson to learn, I think. And if only Gavin learned that lesson earlier, he maybe could have handled it better recently.
Okay, that is there's some truth right there, but it is something we all have to keep in mind. There's always going to be. We live in one world, but there might be a much larger world out there with a lot of unknowns and just people that are better than we are, than we think we are. Just a whole new perspective.
Yeah, you can't let your head get too big. There's always, a bigger fish.
No, that is a good question. Well, when we're talking about public service announcements here, tell us, something that I noticed pound that like button, people. Something I noticed that's left in my comments section, and the spam is just growing out of control as more and more people get into Bitcoin. The scams and spam. Gladiacoin. This is a scam, well, not obviously, and because they're tricking people, and they even tried to scam you somehow. So you brought this up to me off, Gladiacoin. I haven't actually specifically talked about this yet, so rip into it. Tell us what this Gladiacoin is. People should be warned.
Yes, they should. It is kind of obvious. Well, if you know about pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes, it is rather obvious, but a lot of people don't know. So they need to be warned about this Gladiacoin. But they did contact me on the Meetup website, and I just got a message that there's this Bitcoin meetup, and it was supposed to be about Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is about, and how it works and what have you. But when I got there and started listening to these people, they didn't know much about Bitcoin. They knew all the buzzwords, like blockchain and 21 million coins and decentralized and nodes. They didn't understand how any of these things worked. They just briefly mentioned this stuff. They mentioned it wrong. Like, for example, when he talked about the 21 million coins, he said they were out in circulation now. And of course they're not. There's only just over 16 million. And so, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to raise my hand and say, that's not right. There's only 16 million. But he went on and mentioned it again, that there was 21 million in circulation later in his little spiel he was giving. But they claim they can double your money in 90 days. Of course, they won't take cash or check or credit card or anything like that. They'll only take Bitcoin. And this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous claim when you think about it. And so as I was sitting there listening to all this, I'm thinking, this has got to be a scam. And so when their presentation was done, the main guy came over and sat near me, and I started talking to him, and I asked him just, basic questions. Who owns this Gladiacoin? And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, where are they located? Where are their headquarters? I don't know. Do you have a phone number to their main office or corporate headquarters? No, I only know the guy that got me into it. And I told him face to face, I told him, you know what, this is a scam. This is a scam. This is a Ponzi scheme. Oh, I don't think so. Here, look at my cell phone. Look, you could see the money I'm getting back. Because you send them some amount of Bitcoin, and then they give you a little bit back every day, and in 90 days, you should have twice as much as what they gave you. But this is all dependent on more people joining and giving their Bitcoin, and then when you see it works with a small amount, now you send a larger amount, and the whole thing is, there's a big money pot at the top of this pyramid scheme, and when that money pot gets big enough, the creators of this whole thing, who nobody knows their name, are going to run off, shut down the website, and you're going to be out all your Bitcoin.
This is actually a good segue. The payoffs depend on other people joining. What is your view? You know about mining, Bitcoin mining, obviously. What is your view on cloud mining, and what's going on there? Because 99% of that is a scam, also, and it's prevalent. Everybody wants to get into it. Well, certain people want to get into it. What's your take on cloud mining?
I'd have to agree. Pretty much 99%, maybe not all. There's one that might not be. I don't want to mention any names, but just be very wary of these. If they're not a scam, if they're not a scam, they have it's a very poor business model. If you could make money mining, and this is hard to do, if you can make money mining, you're not going to want to give any of that money away. You're going to want to keep all that. So their claims to, well, if you give us money, we can expand our operation, and you're going to get a piece of that. No, that's highly unlikely. You're going to help them make more money. You might get a little bit of your funds back. If you're lucky, you'll get all of it back and maybe a little bit more. But trust me, they're going to make more than what you're making.
Yeah, and that point has to be repeated over and over again. They're not doing this out of the good of their heart there. So let's go back to Segwit again. Let's talk a little bit more about this. This is a little bit of old news, but do you have anything more to say about this Segwit plus the 2 meg hard fork? Good idea? Or is it just a bad idea or an old proposal? And again, compare the miner activated hard fork, user activated soft fork, miner activated soft fork, which is safer and by how much. These are all topics that you obviously have a great interest in.
Well, Segwit itself is a very good thing. We should have Segwit. We should have had it earlier this year at the latest, in my opinion. We should have had it last year. It could have, if enough miners supported it, it could have, with the signaling, it could have went live actually in December. There was that possibility at least. But, we didn't know about ASICboost back then. And that had, I don't know, with everything I know about it, I can't come up with a better reason for the miners not signaling for Segwit than the ASICboost. They don't want to give up that discount on their electric bill. And everybody I listen to who seems to know about this topic, they say the same thing. So Segwit on itself is the best thing, for Bitcoin. It's the best way to go. Now, when you tie that to a 2 meg hard fork, I got a big problem with that. Because Segwit is so likely to fix what is ailing Bitcoin, there's no reason to promise a very risky 2 meg hard fork down the road when it's very likely it won't be needed because Segwit's going to fix the issue. So as far as what's the safest thing to do is for the miners to signal for Segwit It gets activated, it gets locked, and then 2 weeks later it goes live. And so the MAHF, the minor activated
hard fork.
the minor activated hard fork, that's our safest, best thing. But because of ASICboost, who knows if that's going to happen or when it's going to happen, I should say. And then your minor activated soft fork would be the second safest thing, but much less, let me.
Risky. You meant to say the first one was the riskiest.
That's the riskiest. And that would be the least riskiest. Now, the user activated soft fork, that's somewhere in the middle, but if your most riskiest up here and your least riskiest is down here, your minor activated soft fork, and this is your hard fork up here, user activated soft fork is right down here pretty low, I think, from what I know about it so far. But again, this is still very new, and I'm still studying this one. And again, boy, I'd like to talk to Ansel about this.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna hook you guys up, definitely. Well, okay, we covered everything that you wanted to talk. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to bring up here? You're here. You've got people thought you're interesting dude. Tell us anything else you wanted to share.
Let me go through my notes here. I think we talked about everything. Oh, did I mention about the Coinbase, the authentication, the 2FA?
No, yeah, and that's I was going to talk about that tomorrow, but why not give people give people a preview of what's going on with that?
Yes, that guy that lost his $8,000, he must have been using the phone app Authy, because that one links to your phone number instead of the device, where the Google Authenticator links to your device, your phone.
Okay, I'm not sure what he was using. I thought you were going to bring up something else with that I'm going to bring up tomorrow. Actually, it's a little bit different, but okay.
Coinbase put out some information on it, and they just, I think it just came out today that they recommend everyone switch who has two-factor authentication to switch from Authy to Google Authenticator for that reason, and probably because this guy lost his money.
No, yeah, it's no coincidence. No coincidence at all. They got a lot of bad press, and okay, yeah. Those two things sound so similar. Authy, authentic. I mean, and I mean, the bottom line, people, is don't keep your coins at Coinbase. That's another way to avoid all this that's going on over there now. Is always control your private key. All right then, Rocky. Anything else? Anything else you want to give a little plug for what you guys are doing in California? That link is below, obviously, but state the name of the group and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely. I've been running the Bitcoin user group in the Empire chapter for 10 months now, and it's a meetup where we meet once a month, and I just set up a website for it 2 days ago. I just threw something together, and it's at btcmeetup.webstarts.com, or you can just email me directly at rockypalumbo@outlook.com. And this week, it's next week, is the next meeting is Wednesday the 7th, and we're going to talk about how many Bitcoins you should own. And in fact, last time I was on your show, I kind of briefly, tongue-in-cheek, said I might own too much. And let me clarify that. I meant by some people's standards, not by what I think. I think I own just the right amount.
I don't think that you can't own too much. Give us a little preview. Do you think there's what a person should own? Can you give us a quote? I say a person should try to aim to get 16 or 21 of them.
Yes, I know you're 21. I'm going to mention you're 21, but for you to get any more information, you're going to have to come to the meeting.
All right, California, everybody. Well, I hope everyone's enjoyed this laid-back California Saturday type of show here. Check out Rocky's links below. Again, he just gave them out. But anything else? And Rocky?
No, I think that's it.
Coolness. All right, guys. Well, pound that like button if you're down with everything we talked about today. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get back to all the news of the day. I do post, pound that like button. And remember, I do post at least a new video every day. Check out yesterday's This Week in Bitcoin. It was quite awesome. I'll say hello to you in the chat real quick, guys, but see you later. Bye-bye.